Yeah, what phone do people want? Somebody likes performance, somebody likes cameras.
Because our consumers are so diverse, their requirements are different. India is such a price-sensitive country. Oh my God.
20,000 category just shut up.
Apple is far ahead now.
Let's try to understand the importance that an Indian audience gives to processor.
The market is actually contracted by about 3%. What I was saying that survey तो करते ही है ना, उनको तो मालूम है यार, उनको बेचना है. Why OnePlus? Why?
I don't think that the gaming ecosystem has evolved as much. Hello guys, welcome to what I think should be the very first episode of what I think could be a podcast in the near future. And I have a very special guest with us today. Somebody who has very little time for the Trakin Tech English channel now that he has appointed me here.
No.
Your fans want you.
By the way, I mean, not a special guest. अपना ही है यार, ये सभी अपना ही है. I'm not a guest here. It is ours.
Ours, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
And glad to have you here.
So anyways, welcome guys. Like he said, this is an experimental podcast or whatever you want to call, but this is going to be a free-flowing discussion. Lot of points that we have been discussing over the last few days, and it's so much fun. Absolutely. And we decided why not you also have some fun, and that's what we are going to do. So what's on agenda?
The agenda, Arun, is that you see so many phones out here, right? Mm-hmm. And my question is, and you've amassed about 1 crore followers already, but you understand that market right now and the market split right now, and it becomes so difficult for us so many times. And when we are having a conversation, what phone do people want? What is the kind of phone that people want to buy? How do we recommend these phones? Somebody likes performance, somebody likes cameras. How do you look at it, Arun?
As a creator, it is such a tough situation. I am telling you, if I say this one is a great phone, a Vivo selfie, okay, or then something that looks really good, again a Vivo phone or a Xiaomi phone, these kinds, or then all round stock Android and all, then Motorola phone, I'll tell you what, everyone is right in a way. Yes. The reason why I'm saying is Indian consumers as such are so diverse that you cannot say this is a particular perfect phone for you. No. A teenager girl wants a phone that looks good and takes great selfies. A gamer wants a phone that has a real good performance. They're not worried about anything else. Someone who does a lot of multimedia viewing and all that, they want good screen, good stereo. So in India, I'll tell you, there's huge difference. अगर आप यूएस का ऑडियंस लेते हो, अगर आप इंडिया का ऑडियंस लेते हो, they are completely different. There you have something like couple of launches a month. Here, for example, in February, we are going to have something like 22 or 24 launches. Imagine that.
I can't even imagine the kind of work that we're going to be doing.
You are seeing it, right? Yeah. You are seeing it the way we work. 24/7 we are working here. And there is a reason why so many phones are launching. Because our consumers are so diverse, their requirements are different. Every phone here, at every price range probably, is correct, is right for a particular segment of audience. That's what it is all about. And that's why sometimes I feel that creators in US, UK, it's so easy for them, एक iPhone हो गया, Samsung हो गया, OnePlus हो गया, 3 or 4 brands they launch. And there's another thing, these are all unlocked phones. There you get locked phones in a contract. Yes. जो 2-3 साल तक you take that phone, keep it with you till the time that contract expires. Here you just change the phones in 6 months. We do a lot of polls in our tech news and all that, and we ask them how frequently do you change phones. Literally there are out of about 25 to 30% people, they change phone every 6 to 9 months.
That is true.
Can you believe that? And there are also people who change phones after 3 years, 3.5, 4 years. So one phone for 3.5 years. So that is the kind of diversity we have. So India is a diverse country, but the consumers, Indian consumers also have diverse requirements.
I completely agree with you on that. Yeah. Okay, let's make this easy for you, Arun. Okay, what I want to understand is if we are sort of bracketing the Indian audience, right? What are the 3 most important, features in a smartphone that an Indian audience is looking at? What would you think those 3 features are?
I get this question a lot in my Ask Arun episode. See, we have decided as a person, individual, I have decided that when I'm doing unboxing and when I'm saying this is a good phone, this is a bad phone, we have prioritized. But that priority is different for every person. That's what I said in my first question. Consumers are so diverse. But for me, number one comes performance. That is what is very important for us. Second, earlier it was not that. Earlier camera was about fourth or fifth. But now camera has become very, very important. So camera. Third is display. Very important because we again interact. And fourth, I'll say battery and fast charging. So those are my top, that is what I look at. If these four pillars are great, then I'll say, yeah, that's a good phone.
Good phone.
And finally, fifth, and the most important is the price. India is such a price-sensitive country. Oh my God. I'll give you an example. Okay, and I'm talking not just about 10, 15, 20,000 rupees. This particular year or last year around Diwali, do you know which phone sold the most in terms of revenue?
I think
iPhones, man! iPhone! Everyone lapped up iPhones like crazy because they had such a great deal, and everyone thought, wow, I'm getting an iPhone, a 60,000 rupee phone for about 40, 35, 40, 45. Why not go ahead and take it? So they sold something like 5.4 million units in India. My goodness, that is crazy. Because we are a very price sensitive country. We, when we pay a rupee, we want more than a rupee for that. So that is what it is.
They actually did. You're absolutely right. They actually did take a big chunk of the market from in the premium range, and now they're literally Samsung and OnePlus are playing catch up right now at the moment.
I remember about 1.5, 2 years back, it was Samsung and OnePlus in that premium segment, and Apple was on the third position. Apple is far ahead now.
Yes.
That is how they have captured the market in the last 1 year or so.
All right, Arun. So now we've spoken a lot about the kind of phones that people might be interested in. Obviously, you said that there is so much variety, and the audience is also so diverse, right? Now let's dig a little bit deeper. All right, let's try to understand the importance that an Indian audience gives to processors and cameras. Let's get into the specifics of it. Do you think that we actually require the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 after what happened to the 888, right? I mean, we've been...
You know what, Ershad, I'll tell you one thing. We creators and techies are more worried about it. Consumers, at least 98, 99% of them are not so worried about it. For me, they look at, okay, these games, normal jo average games hota hai, I can play that, that's fine. We say 8th Gen 1 clocked at 3.1 gigahertz and all that. They are not bothered. Most of them are not even techie, though they don't even understand. They see our videos, especially in my space I'm talking about, in Hindi space. They see the videos and they'll see the graphs that we see. They'll see at the end what have I said. Right. And based on that, they'll... So for me, yes, certain techies who understand this and tech experts, they are worried about 8 Gen 1, 888 Plus hai, garam hota hai, iska thermal aisa hai, all that things. But for most people, it is that mid-range phone. Do you know, I'll just give you an example. Flagship devices, which are probably 35 to 40,000 and above, they are less than 5% of market share in India. Right. So 95% of people are buying probably a 15, 20, 25,000 phones. And I'll tell you what, those 20, 25,000 rupee phone are more than enough for majority of the audiences. 8 Gen 1 and 888, and look at their gaming performance, look at the Antutu scores, Geekbench scores, and we have to tell them. But they, as consumers, I don't think are bothered too much about it. That's what I think.
That's a very good point that you make out here. And, that brings me to the question of, in that scenario, what do you think, in your perspective, right, is the split of a general consumer and a techie in India, according to your consumers who are watching you, your viewers who are watching you?
Okay, I will tell you what. People who come and watch our videos are actually techies, most of them.
Right.
But they are those micro influencers in their particular family circle, friend circle. Exactly. So they come, they watch our videos, they understand every small thing, and then they are the ones who get called by their friends, by their families. Even dad asks their son, "Kaun sa phone loon main? 20,000 ka hai." And then that guy will tell his dad, Dad, take this phone.
Right.
So most of the consumers who are buying phones are actually those dads, moms, friends, and everyone else. And that small percentage of people who come to our videos and watch, they are kind of micro influencers. And that's why I said, although we need to be worried, we need to test everything. We are, we should say, yeah, 8 Gen 1, it's good. This one is bad. Because those people who are following us, who have subscribed to us, they definitely know that. They're micro tech influencers.
Completely. I know we've had this discussion before, and that makes complete sense. Now, Arun, we've defined, a big chunk of the audience, what they want, what they need, what kind of phones they need in the market and everything, right? But we both know, since we've been in this space for so long, that suddenly, after the pandemic hit and, there have been some disruptions and the market has evolved and changed in the last 2 years.
Oh, a lot. It has really changed. In 2018-19, when I used to do videos, most of our viewers used to ask, 10,000 के नीचे फोन चाहिए, 15,000 के नीचे फोन चाहिए. Nowadays, they are 20,000 is probably the price they are looking at. So what was 10,000 about 3 years back, was 15,000 about year and a half back, is 20,000 today.
And you know what? Interestingly, and we saw this recently in a data that we saw, is that your data matches with the data that Counterpoint or IDC is putting out.
We saw that table, right? And that table is very, very interesting. It says that 10,000, below 10,000, the market is actually contracted by about 3% or
5%.
5%.
Yes.
And 20,000 plus phones have grown by 95% and 30% is grown by 98%.
Something like some crazy numbers.
Yeah, essentially what I was saying, that more expensive phones are getting sold more.
Yes.
But a lot of numbers, I mean, that is what it looks like. But I'll tell you what, there are a couple of reasons why that average selling price might have increased. It might be that in pandemic, the consumers might have more disposable income.
That is true.
Because of that, they might go for higher phones. Earlier, they used to spend eating outside and going outside and traveling outside. All those things have gone. They have reduced. So probably they have more income and they're buying more expensive phones. Also, in pandemic, they understood the importance of that small screen because that is your companion 24/7.
Yes.
So that might be the reason why they are buying. But there are also a couple more reasons that I think. Another thing was, what you used to get in a 15,000 rupee phone about 2 years back, you're getting the same in 20,000 rupee phone now. What I'm trying to say here is that actually the prices of phone have increased.
Yes.
Yeah, GST has gone up and there are the supply chain issues as well. So supply demand is also a problem. So there are reasons why that average selling price might have gone up. Multiple reasons are there which has led to people buying more expensive phones.
You know what? I want to bring the conversation back to the average selling price bit.
Okay.
And I want to also add one specific point that, that I feel specifically also that there are good discount. And I feel that brands now, and you tell me if I'm wrong in this assessment, that brands now are also spending their energies on pushing the 20,000 plus phone. You know what happened when 2021 happened? After the OnePlus Nord came in, the 20,000 category just shot up.
Yeah.
And after that, now we are seeing suddenly the start of the year, there are 30,000 plus phones.
Yes, that's what I was going to say, that it's just not 20,000, even 30 to 35,000. There you have about 4 or 5 phones launching. In last 4 or 5 years of my creating videos, it has never happened.
Yes.
Probably 1 or 2 phones used to launch in 30,000 plus price range, but suddenly in a span of about 10 days, there are so many phones and everyone is coming with it. See, there is, again, brands are pushing it. That is absolutely right, because they also understand, survey to karte hi hai na, unko to malum hai yaar, unko bechna hai. So they basically understand that people are buying more expensive phones and they're catering to it. Absolutely. There is one thing I really want to talk here, and this is to brands. I don't mind even rebranded phones which come from there to here. And I wanted to talk this in this, but I did not tell you. But
that's all right. I like being blindsided. I'm okay with that.
I'm going to talk about it, that I do not like, 2 brands in India launching the same phone. I'm talking about Redmi and Poco. You have Redmi same phone and then Poco launches the same phone. Yes, people like brands like Realme, Xiaomi, they bring so many phones, literally 2-3 phones every month, and there are only incremental changes. They are not very different, and I'm okay with that as well because it caters to those audience. कैमरा किसी को एक अच्छा चाहिए, so that is a big audience. We are a huge country, so even that small number of people is a big thing.
It's also difficult for us as well, right? To keep track of the whole thing, and and most of the times when I'm writing the intro and trying to talk about that specific phone, I'm like, I think I just spoke about this. I'm getting a deja vu right now, right? That happens a lot.
Imagine how much it must be happening to me. I'm
you, I can't even
every second and third day. But that's what it is. That's what the market is.
That is what the market is. That is true. Okay, Arun. Now moving the conversation on to what do you foresee for 2022? And then in the end, what we'll do is we'll give, we'll help our audience make the right buying decision as well.
Okay.
So what are your projections for smartphone launches in 2022? Where is pricing heading to? Is it going to be higher? The budget also happened recently.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that as well.
Yeah. So with budget, there are two things. One, batteries. See, in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat is where we are moving towards. So they want people to, manufacture most phones here. So on battery and I think camera sensors, they are going to get a little bit cheaper, and Indian government is pushing that. So phones might get a little cheaper.
Okay.
Yes, the association mobile, I don't remember the name, CFAI or something like that. They had asked that GST should come down from 18 to 12%. That did not happen. So it's not going to be a major change. Yes. Hardly 2-3% price reduction might happen. And that too might, because if they give it to consumers, they pass it on to consumers that benefit, then the price will come down. Otherwise, no.
I think it might just get a correction. I think it might just go to, it won't go higher. It might just stay at that level that was there in 2021.
Yeah. So in 2020 and 2021, I thought the prices increased. But now with supply chain pressures, probably by mid-year, it should come down a bit. Hopefully. And then I think the prices will remain same. They are not going to go up, neither they are going to go down. They'll probably remain the same in 2022. Launches though are going to go only up. The number of launches in India. I mean, February I did upcoming smartphones. I do every month. In last 3.5-4 years, I have never said that there are going to be 4 or 5 different series of phones, most popular phones launching. So we have about 20-25 phones. We have 28 days and more than 24-25 phones launching, and this is going to carry on. There's also one reason why. November and December generally are not that bad, but these November and December, we saw very few launches. So, that's a cascading effect.
Onto February.
Onto February.
That is right. So Arun, also, I completely missed this bit also that, that I wanted to ask about, is that, does it make sense? Simple question, does it make sense for, today's Indian consumer in 2022 to buy especially if they're looking at flagship phones, to buy a previous generation flagship now, considering a lot of the flagships that launched this year, especially in 2022, have come with a similar processor as the last year, right?
Yeah. And this holds so true for iPhones.
Yes.
We bought iPhone 12s in this Diwali season, most of the consumers. But like we spoke about processors, not much of a difference. It's absolutely fine in my view to buy last generation because you're getting at least 15, 20, 25,000 cheaper than the current generation. And I think that's worth it.
That's worth it, right? Yeah. Okay, to close up the conversation, let's say, we want to make it easier for a consumer to buy a phone. Okay, let's make it extremely, pointed, in the sense that tell me 3 points that you think that a consumer should look at when buying a phone in 2022 and should, take care of when buying a phone in 2022.
Okay. One thing we do not give too much of importance is OS and their updates.
Yes. Completely
we speak about hardware. I also told you when we are doing videos, which are the 4 things we give most importance to, and they're all about hardware. OS is something you really need to watch closely because, see, whatever you do on your phone, it's basically OS and how well it is optimized. If it is buggy, then your experience is never going to be good, however good the hardware might be.
Right.
So I want to tell all the consumers out there, mobile consumers, that look at the OS, the software, in more depth. That's what I'll say. So that is one.
Number one.
Second, okay, so processors, like I said, 6nm, 7nm does not make much of a difference. Even performance-wise, 7 lakh Antutu score, 7.5, 8 lakh does not really matter. So processors is okay, but cameras, again, cameras becoming very important, very, very important. And I'll tell you what, again, I wanted to say this. The OnePlus, you need to improve your cameras, man. Your phones are so good. Why?
The 9RT is such a good example.
It's such a seriously. I mean, why?
Could you say that again?
Oh man, it was such a good flow. That's Siri talking in between. We'll cut this. Anyway, let's come back to the 9RT.
Yeah. So OnePlus 9RT. I mean, overall, it is such a nice phone, such a great gaming phone it is.
Yes.
And cameras. I mean, why OnePlus? Why can't you
just
that
fix
post-processing?
it.
Yeah, that post-processing is a matter of post-processing, and we have been asking for last 2.5 years.
More than that, Arun.
Yeah, 3 years.
Three
probably.
years, I think, yeah.
No, but I'll tell you what. I used to like OnePlus 1, OnePlus 2, OnePlus 3. Initially, when these phones came, even the cameras were quite good for the price. Now, see, these OnePlus phones are as expensive as Samsung's.
Very true.
Right? So they have to match up with the camera. So, but they are not doing it. But yes, second, very closely is cameras. You go out there, don't only see our videos, but see multiple videos and see the samples and then make a decision.
But also see Trakin Tech English video for camera comparison. I have to do this.
So camera and audio are his biggest pluses.
Yes.
So whenever you want to see anything, you go and check out Trakin Tech English. And that is what videos we are going to do here quite a lot. So that is going to be focus area. So cameras are second. And third point, it's not really, what should I say? It's not important, but brands are misdirecting you with their fast charging thing. I will tell you what they say. It is 120 watt. That means it actually should charge in about 12-13 minutes. A 4,500 or a 5,000 milliampere hour phone. It does not happen. I like OnePlus in that sense. Since they came up with this fast charging, their brick, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, their phones get charged.
That is right.
Period. But Xiaomi came with that hyper phone, 120 watt charging. But it still takes about 25-30 minutes. Where is 120 watt and 65 watt warp charging or something? How is that? So, they put out those numbers, but in real life, it does not really work out. So that is something you need to...
It's quite a varying sort of, numbers that you get. You have to switch off your screen, you have to switch off your airplane mode.
And then no one does it in real life.
No one does it in real life, that is true. So, just at least be upfront about that. I'm presuming that is more important.
Well, if I ask you the same question, tell me, okay, 2 points.
2 points, apart from what you've said.
Yes. You can also, say, okay.
No, your point about processors is something that, you didn't make that point, but I'm saying that I want to bring the processors bit into this, primarily because, Arun, I feel that while processors are great, GPUs are great, they're so powerful nowadays, I don't think that the gaming ecosystem has evolved as much. I don't, but especially on Android. On Apple, you have Apple Arcade.
And we spoke, you are absolutely, we spoke
about this.
We spoke about this. See, what happens is, right now, 8 Gen 1 is really good, but are you using the power that 8 Gen 1
I think there are a couple of games. That's it. You need more, right?
Yeah, see, because it takes time to develop those games.
Yes.
Because these games were developed about 2-3 years back. At that time, those processors, on those processors. Now they'll start developing, and after 2-3 years, the games will come. So the ecosystem is always going to lack the power which the hardware has.
And I think that brands are also partly to blame for this. They have to work with these ecosystem members.
Yes.
And tell them, boss, especially for somebody like, I really like ROG phone, and I've, spoken to Asus about this and told them, when I had the Engage QD back in the day, and they made the specific games for that Engage QD.
Yeah. In fact, I'm saying not even brands, even companies like Snapdragon should involve developers, because when they develop it at that time, if the developers start developing on those kind of chipset, it will really help.
Completely agree with you on that point. And for the second point, Arun, and like you've spoken extensively about it, as about the pricing bit and how the ASP is going up and everything. But I think what happens is that, okay, fine, 1,000 rupees more, 2,000 rupees more, especially in the budget range. When you put that extra money and you're like, you will get a better phone, but you actually don't.
No,
because
yeah.
it is the case of diminishing returns. You
Yeah.
put more money,
Yeah.
you get very little for it.
So yeah, and I have said this earlier in videos as well, that if you have fixed a budget, 15,000, 15,000 ka phone lena hai, buy a 15,000 rupee phone. Don't, 17,000, 18,000, that's unending.
Yes,
That's
that is unending.
So 15,000 rupee phone, buy a 15,000 rupee phone. Don't overspend. That is very important. I agree. That's a very important point.
That is correct. All right, Arun.
Yeah.
That ends our first podcast, or, we'll call it...
I don't know whether this was podcast. We just, what we decided, that we have so many discussions off camera.
Yes.
That, like I said, if we have so much fun discussing it, why not involve our viewers?
Yes.
How do you like it? Do let us know. And yes, do comment and tell us what else can we do? What should we discuss?
Correct.
Both of us are here.
And one more thing I want to add is, obviously you guys want Arun a lot on the channel. So apart from this, how would you like Arun to be a part of Trakin Tech English videos? And his time is limited, obviously, because he's also doing a lot of other things. Like, you've seen Trakin Tech Auto Hindi. If you haven't subscribed to all of these channels, which you probably might have already, please go and check the links in the comment section below. Until next time,
Yeah. Keep
keep tracking and stay safe.